for joining me again on A+ Maths. Let's just quickly recap on what we've already learned. We've learned rule number 1, which is find the distance between 2 points. We've learned rule number 2, which is find the gradient of a line, using the formula or the equation of the line. We've learned rule number 3, which is find the midpoint given 2 points. And we've done half of number 4, which is y equals mx plus b. And in one of the earlier videos, I also did rule number 11. Up until now, I've shown you a few different ways of how to draw a straight line from the equation. You can either use a table of values, or you can find where it crosses the y-axis and use the gradient as rise over run. There is another way that we can draw a straight line using rules number 9 and 10. And rule number 9 and 10 say a line cuts the x-axis when y equals 0 and a line cuts the y-axis when x equals 0. So our rule number 9 and 10 tell us that a line cuts the x-axis when y equals 0 and a line cuts the y-axis when x equals 0. So let's do that with our equation and then see what we get. If I let y equals 0, I can then solve that, move the 3 to the other side and get x equals 3. That means that I know that this line must go through the point 3, 0, which is over there. 1, 2, 3. If a line cuts the y-axis when x equals 0, then I can let x equal 0. So y will equal 0 take away 3, so y will equal minus 3, which hopefully we would have known anyway because that was in the right form. But even if we don't realise that it was in the right form, we still could have worked it out. -3, and because we have 2 points, we can now rule a line. And that's also a very easy way to sketch a line. Let's have a look. This question here. We know that a line cuts the x-axis when y equals 0. So it cuts the x-axis when y equals 0. So let's put y equals 0. X plus 2 times 0 is 0 equals 6. So we know that line goes through 6, 0. Be careful where you put the 0. Y is 0. Remember your coordinates. X comes first and y comes second. Don't forget that. And this line is going to cut the y-axis when x equals 0. And remember, that's our rule number 9 and 10. And now I'm going to put in x equals 0 into my formula. So 2y equals 6, divide both sides by 2, so y equals 3, and then I can just plot the 2 points and join the dots. So x can equal 6, x can equal 6, and y can equal 3. So this is a pretty simple way really to draw a line. There's no rise over run, you don't have to remember anything. All you need to do is to sub in x equals 0 and y equals 0. And there's a lot of people that will do this for many years afterwards and not use the other ways at all, unless they're forced to. Over here, the equation of this line is not in the right form. The advantage of this method is that I do not need to write it in the correct form. So we know that the line cuts the x-axis when y equals 0. We put in y equals 0 and we solve it for x. So x equals 4. And then we know that it cuts the y-axis when x equals 0. Everybody happy with this? So x equals 0, we're left with 4y equals 12, so y equals 3. I would plot the 3 and then I just join the dots. And I make sure that I put arrows on the end. Now that's a pretty easy way to graph a straight line as well. Just use our rule number 9 and 10, find where it cuts the x-axis, find where it cuts the y-axis, and join the dots. Thanks again for watching the videos. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe below. See you next time for more.